Welcome to Life Lessons from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Today is Radhastami. And so our focus will be on glorifying Srimati Radharani by discussing a section of the Bhagavatam that is Canto 10, chapter 30, verses 26 to 41. This is from the Rasa Dance, Rasopanchadhyay section of the Bhagavatam. Before we begin our discussion, however, I'll just chant some prayers of invocation. It's a nice way to begin, and it also gives people time to arrive as well. These are verses glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 17. Shrinvatam svakata Krishna, punya shravana kirtana, hridyantastohya badrani, vidunoti suhrit satam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, Supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Those messages, of course, are Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 18. Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Let's chant one more. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:340. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasya Saya Lokasya Danyam Swastyaya Namahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Wonderful. Let me acknowledge those of you who have arrived. We have Sri Gandharvika here, my wife joining from New York City, who says, Happy Janmastami. Welcome, Sri Gandharvika. And then on Instagram, we have, let's just scroll through here. We have Gopal Rohan Sharma. We have Hidden Detail, Swag Boy, Shama Manjari, who says, Radhe, Radhe, Sri Prahlada Prabhuji. Welcome, Shama Manjari, joining us from South Africa. Joyful Mess Money. Okay. We have Code 4, Kaidava Psikologa, Munir Hassan 9283. Okay, Swag Boy says, Radhe, Radhe. Chantro Pramana Rimini is also with us, as is Anitanath, Kevin, and It's Pavit 10. And Big Bapu as well. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining. We are going to be discussing the glories of Srimati Radharani because it is Radhastami. Here's Active Hassan Official is also with us, says hello. Brother, how are you? Very well, thank you. Grateful to be here discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, the glories of Srimati Radharani. Big Bapu says, Happy Radhastami, everyone. Hari Bol. And Swag Boy says, Guruji and Pranam. So my greetings and obeisances, best wishes to all of you. Let's go to our topic then, Radhastami. Today is the appearance day of Srimati Radharani, Krishna's tender-hearted counterpart. We are going to discuss her glories based on the 30th chapter of the Bhagavatam. Now, the 30th chapter appears within a subsection of the 10th canto, 29 to 33. These chapters, 5 chapters, they're collectively called Raso Panchadhyay. They are the most esoteric chapters of the Bhagavatam. So we're going to focus specifically on 30, which specifically, even more specifically, reveals the glory of Srimati Radharani as Krishna's controller. Therefore, the section is very dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very dear to the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some people refer to the Bhagavatam as Radha Bhagavatam, which is most wonderful. And why? Because in a very hidden way, an esoteric way, it reveals her glory, the glory of Srimati Radharani as most beloved of Krishna, so beloved that Krishna himself becomes subservient to her. So a little context then for chapter 30. It follows chapter 29. In chapter 29, Krishna has called the gopis on a most beautiful autumnal full moon night. He sees the beauty of Vrindavan, and it gives rise to feelings of love and affection in his heart. And he expresses those feelings, that joy, that love, by playing his flute. He translates those feelings into sound. And that sound travels through the ether of Vrindavan and enters the hearts of the gopis. The gopis stop whatever they're doing and they rush to be with Krishna by the Yamuna in the forest of Vrindavan. All across Vrindavan, gopis hear that song. Some are cleaning, some are dressing, some are cooking, some are ornamenting, some are serving. Whatever they're doing, they leave it to be with Krishna. Krishna tells them to return home. He says, you've seen the forest, it's very beautiful. Now quickly go home to avoid transgressing dharma. And the gopis refuse. They say, anything that gets in the way of our relationship with you, it is of no value, even if it is called dharma, whatever else it may be. The purpose of dharma is to deepen our relationship with you. And so if dharma becomes the obstacle, what is the point? What is the use? Krishna is pleased with this response from the gopis, and he associates with the gopis intimately. They wander together through Vrindavan forest. Each gopi is experiencing Krishna's personal attention, and she feels to herself to be the luckiest girl in the whole world. And Krishna detects some pride in this. And so he disappears. He withdraws himself. And the gopis are filled with anguish in separation, vipralamba or viraha. They wander through the forest of Vrindavan, speaking like crazy people to the trees and the creepers and the animals, asking them, have you seen Krishna? Have you seen the son of Maharaj Nanda passing in this direction? Then they discover footprints. So this is a very important turning point. After going through the forest and asking, not receiving answers from the trees or the creepers or the animals, they discover these footprints, and that fills their heart with great joy. And so they, like detectives, they start to follow this trail. They pick up the trail and start to follow, hoping that the footprints will lead them to Krishna himself. So this is where we're going to pick up, verses 26 to 41 of the 30th chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. We will discuss this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're going to discuss this under three headings. First, Radharani's lotus footprints. Second, Krishna's service to Srimati Radharani. Third, Radha's pangs of separation from Krishna, her viraha. So let's begin with our first subsection, Radharani's lotus footprints. Verses 26 and 27 of this 30th chapter, they describe the gopis' discovery of Krishna's footprints. So verse 26 says, the gopis began following Krishna's path, as shown by his many footprints. But when they saw these prints were thoroughly intermixed with those of his dearmost consort, they became perturbed and spoke as follows. Verse 27, the gopis said, here we see the footprints of some gopi who must have been walking alongside the son of Nanda Maharaj. He must have put his arm on her shoulder, just as an elephant rests his trunk on the shoulder of an accompanied she-elephant. So the gopis not only discover Krishna's footprints, but they find that his footprints are mixed with those of someone else. And they're lighter footprints, they're a little bit smaller. And so they understand these are a girl's footprints, these are the footprints of another gopi. Some of the gopis there, they recognize these are Radharani's footprints. And inwardly, they feel very happy, they're very joyful. Their friend Radha has been taken away by Krishna exclusively. Thousands of gopis have been with Krishna. He disappeared, but he didn't disappear alone. He disappeared with their dear friend, their Shaki, their Swamini. Even though they're feeling joyful internally, externally, they have expressed some this bewilderment and on this discovery. Rupa Goswami, he explains Radharani's footprints to us and how they are specifically recognizable because of 19 marks. So at the base of her large toe on the left foot, there is a barley corn. Below that is a chakra, a disc. Below that is an umbrella. Below the umbrella is a bracelet. Then there is a vertical line that extends from the middle of her foot to the juncture of her large and second toes. At the base of her middle toe is a lotus flower. Below that is a flag with a banner. Below the flag, there is a creeper with a flower. At the base of her small toe is an elephant's goad, and on her heel is a half moon. And so in this way, Rupa Goswami describes 11 marks on her left foot. On her right foot, at the base of her large toe, is a conch shell. Below that, a spear. At the base of her small toe on her right foot is a sacrificial altar. Below that, an earring. And below that, a club. And on the base of her second, third, and fourth and small toes is the mark of a mountain. Below that is a chariot. And on the heel is a makara, a fish. So together, Rupa Goswami describes 19 distinguishing marks on Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. And the gopis who recognize these marks pretend not to see them. They pretend not to recognize them. Why? Because they're hiding their joy for the sake of the larger company of gopis there. There are many types of gopis. Some of these gopis are Radharani's close friends. Others of these gopis are not. They see her as rivals. So verse 30, we see a gopi who's a rival. She says, these footprints of this gopi give us great sorrow. She has stolen Krishna's lips, which should be tasted by all of us gopis, and is enjoying them alone. And so there is some transcendental jealousy there as well. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he comments on this. He says that they believe that Radha, by some unknown pious activity, has brought Krishna under her control, and they think that Krishna has abandoned them. because of Radha. And so this is causing them some jealousy. But then they become happy in a later verse because Radharani's footprints disappear. Gleefully they say, oh, we can't see her footprints anymore. But then they realize something even more painful. We'll be talking about that next. So as followers of Lord Chaitanya, we can just pause here. As followers of Lord Chaitanya, as followers of Rupa Goswami and of Srila Prabhupada, our service is actually Radha Dasya. We are in the line of service of Srimati Radharani. And we are committed to serving her lotus feet. We don't try to follow the path of Krishna's footprints. Rather, we follow the path of Srila Prabhupada's footprints. And Prabhupada's following the path of Rupa Goswami's footprints and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's footprints. And in the mood of a devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Gopyar Batur Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Anudasa. I am a servant of Krishna who is a lover of the gopis. I'm a servant of the lotus feet of Krishna who is a lover of the gopis. And so our approach to Krishna is through the footprints of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani, among all the gopis, is supreme. And so by following in the footsteps or footprints of our Guru Varga, our line of spiritual teachers, we are led to the service of Srimati Radharani. Not only are we eager for the service to Srimati Radharani, Krishna himself is also eager for the service. So we'll discuss that more now in our next section, verses 28 to 36. So verse 28 says, certainly this gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead, Govinda, since he's so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. O girls, the dust of Govinda's lotus feet are so sacred that even Brahma, Shiva, and Goddess Rama take that dust upon their heads to dispel sinful reactions. These footprints, text 30, of that special gopi greatly disturb us. All the gopis, of all the gopis, she alone was taken to a secluded place where she is enjoying Krishna's lips. Look, we can't see her footprints over there. It's obvious that the grass and sprouts were hurting the tender soles of her feet, and her lover lifted up his beloved. So initially, they're happy. Oh, we can't see the footprints. But then they say, oh, actually, he's carrying her now. He's lifted her. Text 31. Please observe, my dear gopis, how in this place Krishna's footprints have pressed even more deeply into the ground. Carrying the weight of his beloved must have been difficult for him. And over here, that intelligent boy must have put her down to gather some flowers. So they're looking at the impressions in the grass and in the earth, in the dirt, the dust, we can say. Text 32. Just see how in this place, dear Krishna collected flowers for his beloved. He has left the impression only of the front part of his feet because he's standing on his toes to reach the flowers. Text 33. Suddenly Krishna sat down here with his girlfriend to arrange her hair. That boy must have made a crown for that girl out of the flowers he had collected. Text 34. Sukadeva Goswami says, Lord Krishna enjoyed with that gopi, although he enjoys only within, being self-satisfied and complete in himself. Thus, by contrast, he showed the wretchedness of ordinary lusty men and hard-hearted women. Text 35 and 36. As the gopis wandered about, their minds completely bewildered, they pointed out the various signs of Krishna's pastimes. The particular gopi whom Krishna had led into the secluded forest when he had abandoned all the other young girls began to think herself the best of women. My beloved has rejected all the other gopis, she thought. Even though they are driven by Cupid himself, he has chosen to reciprocate with me alone. Okay, so we can discuss these verses in a bit more detail. Verses 28 to 36 describe different services that Krishna is rendering to Radharani. verses 31 and 32. The gopis see how the footprints have disappeared and how Krishna has become heavy, indicating that Krishna is carrying her. That's a very intimate service. If you're a parent, you'll carry your children. And sometimes a beloved may, generally a man, may carry his girlfriend. It's very, very intimate. Krishna is doing that for Srimati Radharani, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is enjoying carrying Sri Radha, rendering that service to her. Then the gopis observe that they can only see the front part of Krishna's lotus feet. And they understand. They look, they see the footprints, they're pressed very deeply into the ground, only the front part, and then they look above and they see a flower tree. So they understand that he's standing on his toes to reach the flowers that he wants to pick for Srimati Radharani. And then they look further and see like larger depressions in the ground, in the dust or in the grass. And they say, here Krishna has sat with his girlfriend to arrange her hair. And they analyze that area. They analyze the different indications around them. Like detectives, they say he must have made a crown for that girl out of the flowers he has collected. So what wonderful services. Krishna is carrying Sri Radha. He places her down. He stands on his tippy toes to pick flowers for Sri Radha. And then very expertly, he's made a flower crown for her and decorated her hair. What wonderful services Krishna is performing Srimati Radharani. And so the name Radha, how do we know that this gopi is specifically Radharani? We are given an indication in verse 28. This is a very famous verse, a very important verse. It's cited in different places in the Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. As followers of Srimati Radharani, this verse is very important for us. Anayaradito nunam Bhagavan Haririshvara Yando Vihaya Govinda Pritoyam Anayadraha. It means, certainly this particular gopi has perfectly worshipped the all-powerful personality of Godhead, Govinda, since he was so pleased with her that he abandoned the rest of us and brought her to a secluded place. This verse says that the special gopi that Krishna has taken away has worshipped him perfectly. The Sanskrit is Anaya Radita. Anaya Radita. The words in this verse, according to Jiva Goswami, are spoken by a gopi who loves Radharani. And the significance of this verse for Lord Chaitanya's followers is very, very great. Radharani's identity is revealed here. Krishna's dearest gopi consort is revealed. Up until this point, Sukadeva Goswami hasn't spoken Radharani's name, but here he presents the name of the Supreme Goddess, most dearly beloved of Krishna, within the verbal form Anaya Radita. What does it mean? She who has perfectly worshipped. Our acharyas explain that the verse acknowledges that the gopis know that Radha has Krishna under her control by her perfect worship. And so we can meditate on this name, Anaya Radita or Radha. Radha means to worship, to please. Radha pleases Krishna. Aradhana means to worship. So when we take to Krishna's service, when we take to devotional service, we do so under the guidance of Radha. We engage in Aradhana, in worship, under the guidance of Radha. And when we make offenses offenses to Krishna, offenses to Krishna's devotees, it means we go against Radha. And that is called, it is called aparadha. Be careful of offenses. Aparadha. There are offenses that are committed in service, seva aparadha. There are offenses that can be made to the name, nama aparadha. And there are offenses that are made to devotees, Vaishnava aparadha. These aparadhas become obstacles to bhakti. And so we avoid the aparadha and we engage in aradhana under Sri Radha's expert guidance, following the line of teachers that follow her footprints. That is Sri Chaitanya, Sri Rupa, Srila Prabhupada. And so, because Radha is Krishna's best worshipper, she has him under control. The best way for you and I to serve him, Aradhana, is under her guidance. We're following all of our acharyas who identify as servants of Sri Radha. Their aspiration is to see the Krishna who stands before Radha or stands besides Radha, because that is when Krishna is most complete. Okay, let's go to our third section then. Radha's pangs of separation. Verses 37 to 41. They describe viraha, or separation, vipralambha bhav. Verse 37, as the two lovers passed through one part of Vrindavan forest, the special gopi began feeling proud. She told Lord Keshava, I cannot walk any further. Please carry me wherever you want to go. Text 38. Thus addressed, Krishna replied, just climb on my shoulder. But as soon as he said this, he disappeared. His beloved consort then immediately felt great remorse. She cried out, O master, O my lover, O dearmost, where are you? Where are you? Please, O mighty armed one or friend, show yourself to me, your poor servant. Sukadev Goswami said, while continuing to search out Krishna's path, the gopis discovered their unhappy friend close by. She was bewildered by separation from her lover. She told them how Madhava had given her much respect, but how she then suffered dishonor because of her misbehavior. The gopis were extremely amazed to hear all of this. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains how the divine couple had gone to a particularly attractive, beautiful section of the forest. And then Radha, in the mood of pride, dripta, had Krishna undo the top knot that he had made earlier in their play. And she had him tie her hair in braids instead. In that way, she wanted to hide her playful dealings from her friends. And so in this way, she also shows the pride of an independent girl who's brought her boyfriend under her control. And this enhances the conjugal mood. Then in verse 37, she said, I can't go any further. I'm tired from so much wandering. And Krishna says, a beautiful girl, we will reach another wonderful spot further in the forest. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies, Radha says, carry me like before, and we can go there. And Krishna replies, Krishna asks, should I bring you to the secluded grove ahead where no one else could enter? Or should I take you to a flower garden to decorate you with flowers? Anticipating this question, Radharani says, take me wherever you want. And for Radha, this is a most unusual response. Take me wherever you want. Because Radha is generally contrarian in her dealings with Krishna. And here she becomes submissive. Take me wherever you want. And when Radha spoke like this, Krishna considered that she had given up her usual uncooperative behavior. She's given up her vamya nature. And so he also gave up his nature. He says, why then should I not give up my nature as Radha's cooperative lover who faithfully follows her in obedience? If both lovers show the same nature of being either cooperative or uncooperative, then there is no rasa. I mean, the rasa is diminished. There's no tension. It becomes kind of one-dimensional. It becomes less dynamic. It becomes more static. But if one is cooperative, the other uncooperative, then there can be a lot of play and there can be tension, complexity, excitement, dynamism. And so when Radha gave up her generally uncooperative nature, then Krishna abandoned his cooperative nature to ensure a continuation of the experience or the tasting of rasa. He also thought, he further considered that the gopis have seen Radha's greatness. They've seen her greatness in her embracing me. They've seen her greatness in me taking her away exclusively. And now let them see and be amazed at the exceptional condition of Radha's love in viraha, in separation. And let them develop empathy and compassion for her. And if they see that, they'll give up their jealousy. And when I later alleviate or dispel Radha's pain in separation, all the gopis will share the same mood, and I will be able to properly inaugurate the rasa dance with all the gopis understanding Srimati Radharani's upmost or super excellent position. And so considering all these factors, then Krishna told Radha, just climb on my shoulder, and suddenly disappeared. So we can reflect further, although this love and separation of Vipralamba Bhav or Srimati Radharani is the highest and most intense expression of divine love, it's also relevant for you and I in our neophyte state. Prabhupada said we should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with the intensity and longing of a child crying for its mother. This feeling of longing for Krishna will purify our hearts. And there's a paradox. That is, love in separation increases the intensity of intimacy and closeness. For Radha, this is expressed, or as expressed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Radha's mood. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, every moment separated from Krishna is like 12 years or more. He says this in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Yugayitam nimishena chakshusa pravisayitam sanjayate jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. This viraha, govinda viraha, for me, each moment becomes like a yuga. We say 12 years or more, or a millennium or more. Yuga can be translated variously. And in that moment, Radha's thinking of Krishna with the highest intensity. That is, in fact, the highest bliss, the highest union. Thoughts of Krishna are triggered by every sound, by every movement, by every sight. They become vibhavas or udipanas for remembering Krishna and invoking his presence. So if you and I can start to feel some longing for Krishna, recognize the longing in your heart, maybe a longing for comfort or for peace or for happiness or for love. Recognize that is your soul's longing for Krishna. You think it's a longing for this or that or the other thing, but in fact, it is the soul's longing for Krishna. And that longing will remain there up until you are reunited with Krishna. And when you are reunited with Krishna, that longing will continue, but it will be experienced as the highest transcendental bliss. So today is Radhastami, and we have read some wonderful verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 30, verses 26 to 41. We meditated on Srimati Radharani's footprints, and we learned that as followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami and Prabhupada, we are committed to following the footprints of Sri Radha for serving the lotus feet of Sri Radha as Krishna's supreme and dearest lover. We don't try to follow the path of Krishna's footprints, but rather by following the footprints of our Guru Varga, we are led to the service of Srimati Radharani. We also learned that Krishna himself is engaged in service to Srimati Radharani. How does Krishna serve Radha? We saw many nice examples. How Krishna is carrying Srimati Radharani, how Krishna is collecting flowers for Srimati Radharani, how he's making a nice ornament for her, a flower crown, a crown from these flowers, how he's decorating her hair. And so this service that Krishna is rendering is also aspired for by our Guru Varga. Rupa, Prabhupada are also aspiring for service to Srimati Radharani. Our aspiration to see Krishna is standing next to Sri Radha, because that is when Krishna is most complete. Radha brings out Krishna's highest love, and therefore the most complete manifestation of himself in Sri Vrindavan Dham. The most complete manifestation of Krishna, his sweetness, his super excellent sweetness that supersedes the glory of Narayan, is only manifest in Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan in its highest form when Krishna stands with Srimati Radharani. So by following in her footprints, following our Guru Varga, we come to see and serve that Krishna as well. If you and I are fortunate, we will see Krishna as Radhanath, Krishna as Radha Vinod, Krishna as Radhanath, Krishna who enjoys pastimes with Srimati Radharani. Our third topic was discussing Radha's pangs of separation from Krishna. You and I learned how, although this viraha of Sri Radha is very intense, it is the highest, most intense expression of divine love. And it's relevant for you and I even in our neophyte state. We must cultivate a longing for Krishna. Recognize that the longing in our hearts is in fact a longing for Krishna. And we try to express that in our chanting as well, to cultivate that feeling. And that will bring us to the service of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. So today we'll conclude by chanting some verses glorifying Srimati Radharani. 3 prayers, 2 from Archana Parati, compiled by Sanatan Goswami, and 1 from Vilap Kushmanjali by Raghunath Das Goswami. The first 2 from Archana Parati, the last by Raghunath Das Goswami in his Vilap Kushmanjali. Govinda Valabe Radhe Partaye Tvamaham Sada Tvariya iti janatu Govindo mam tvaya saha. O Srimati Radharani, O dearest of Lord Govinda, this is always my request to you. Please let Lord Govinda, along with yourself, consider me to be one of your assistants. Radhe Vrindavanadishe Karunamrita Bahini Kripaya Nija Padabja Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyatam. O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind upon me and give me a little service at your lotus feet. Tavaivasmi, Tavaivasmi, Najivami Tvayavina, Iti Vigayane Bitvam Layamam Charanantikam. I am yours. I am yours. I cannot live without you. O Devi Sri Radha, please understand this and bring me to your lotus feet. Srimati Radharani ki jai. So let me see if there are any questions that we can address. We have Kirtina with us from Norway. We have Sunny Tucker who says, Hari Bol, Prabhu, always a pleasure to hear and see you. Thank you, Sunny. And on Instagram, we do have a question from Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam says, he asks, is there a distinction between Hladini Shakti and the Lord's internal potency? Is Radharani the embodiment of both or one and not the other? Great question there, Bhagavatam. Excuse me. So is there a distinction between Hladini Shakti and the Sarup Shakti, internal potency? And the answer is, there is. They are one, but they are also distinct. The Sarup Shakti, Krishna's internal potency, has three qualities or aspects: Samvit, Sandini, and Hladini. Samvit relates to cognizance. Sandini refers to the principle of existence, support, and Hladini refers to the principle of pleasure, enjoyment. So everything that is of the spiritual nature, it is cognizant or conscious, it is eternally existent and rich with substance, and it is full of bliss, of pleasure. Srimati Radharani is the personification of that pleasure or bliss potency, Hladini Shakti. And so that aspect of the Swarup Shakti or internal potency is personified by Srimati Radharani. Comparatively or similarly, Sri Baladev, he personifies the Sandini Shakti or the existence or support principle, the principle of eternal existence and support. And so in this way, both Sri Radha and Sri Baladev, they are Krishna's expansions. They are not different from him, but they also have their own quality or bhavana, their own mood, sentiment. And that sentiment is in support to Krishna, loving Krishna. Baladev is supporting by manifesting as the Dham and different paraphernalia that Krishna enjoys. And Sri Radha is giving pleasure to Krishna through her character and personality and her love and her affection, but also by expanding as so many gopis in Sri Vrindavan Dham, as queens, Mahishis in Dwaraka Dham, and as so many Lakshmis in Vaikuntha Dham. So we are performing devotional service also under the guidance of Sri Baladev, who is Adi Guru, and Srimati Radharani, who is Shiksha Guru. The initial stages of devotional service under the guidance of Baladev, he connects the soul with Krishna by acting as the example of service. And then in the more mature stages of devotional service, particularly for those in Madhurya Ras, then Srimati Radharani manifests as guidance as Shiksha Guru. Thank you for your question there, Bhagavatam. Vedic Chat says, so beautiful. Thank you, Vedic Chat. Big Bapu says, superb. Thank you. And then Love Nature Life 7 says, is Radha and Radharani the same? Yes, absolutely. Radha, we saw in our discussion on the 30th chapter of the Bhagavatam, extends from the the word aradhana or aradhita. Aradhana means to worship or to please. And so aradhana is worship is manifest from Radha, Sri Radha. She embodies that, she personifies that. And so, yeah, Radha, and then the personality Radha, she's the queen of Vrindavan, so she's called Radharani. They are the same person. Bhagavatam says, Haribol, thank you very much. Prabhu, you are most welcome. Bhagavatam. Confor says, Hare Krishna, so true. Thank you for your affirmation. Let's just check in here. Any other questions? Comments on this side as well. Here we are. Namachintamani joins us from Melbourne, Australia with a question. Welcome, Namachintamani. Good to see you. Namachintamani says, Hare Krishna Sri Prahlada Prabhu, my obeisances. I stumbled upon this live broadcast by chance and I'm so happy to have caught the beautiful verses you were chanting. It took me back to your Srimad Bhagavatam class at ISKCON Sydney, as you used to chant these verses in the Mangala Charan. I miss these sanghas due to the time changes and hope to join more often. Yeah, thanks, Namachintamani. Yes, I like to chant these verses in the Mangala Charan before speaking to take permission and guidance and blessings that I can try to represent our Guru Varga, our Guru Parampara, and offer something that helps connect us, connect me and connect others that I have the privilege of discussing with Krishna. So thank you for that reflection and memory. And yes, the time difference has been difficult. I think at some point it will change back again. It might make it easier for us as well. All right. I think we will. Oh, here's Love Nature says, I'd Radharani, the Shakti of Krishna. Is Radharani the Shakti of Krishna? Good question. Is Radharani Krishna's Shakti? Yes, Krishna is the Shaktiman. Radha is a Shakti of Krishna. The thing to understand is that we talk about Shaktiman and Shakti, indicating that one comes from the other. However, they are eternally existent. So Krishna and Radha's pastimes are nitya. They are eternal. And so the sun and the sunlight, or the sun ray, with the sun and the ray, they are, that the ray is the Shakti or the potency of the sun. But you cannot have a sun without a ray. You cannot have a ray without a sun. They go together. And so Radha and Krishna are eternally performing their pastimes. But yes, Radharani personifies the Hladini Shakti. That is Krishna's Hladini Shakti, personified by Srimati Radharani. Thank you for your question. Love Nature 7. All right. I wish you all well. May you deepen in your taste for hearing the glories of Sri Radha and Krishna. May you deepen in your taste for chanting their holy names with affection and attention. May you deepen in your appreciation for service to the deities of Sri Radha, Gopijana Vallabha, Radha Govinda. May you deepen your appreciation for the Dham, where Radha and Krishna's pastimes are performed. And may you deepen in your love and service to Sri Radha and Krishna's devotees. Take every opportunity to serve, to develop friendship with Radha and Krishna's devotees, and also to support those devotees in any way you can. Seniors, your peers, and juniors as well, in different types of loving exchanges. And through these activities, may your heart soften with compassion. Sri Radha is called Karunamayi. She's called the mother of compassion. May your heart soften with Sri Radha's love and compassion, that you are moved to share their glories with others as well. Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Radhastami ki jai, Srimati Radharani ki jai, Itai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Val. Jai Shri Radhe. Welcome Janaki and Maturanath as well. Thanks.